scientific notations behind this. We'll move to a verse or ayah from Surat al-An'am and we'll return back, so stay tuned.
الحمد لله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وجعل الظلمات والنور ثم الذين كفروا بربهم يعدلون.
All praise is for God, who created the heavens and the earth, and made the darkness and the light. Yet the disbelievers ascribe equals to their Lord.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome back. You're watching Quran and Science. And first I'd love to ask my dear guests about what is the meanings you're getting from this verse or ayah. I'll start by you, Zabihullah Kareem, for this. What is the meaning that you're getting behind this? And what is the meaning behind having this ayah starting with the word Alhamd?
Alhamd, the meaning is that praise be to Allah, the one and only, who created the skies, heavens, and the earth, and who created the darkness and the light. And still there's people, non-believer, who make equals to their laws.
What about you, Rahman?
I believe that in this verse Allah is asking people not to confine their perspective to what they have in their hand. I mean, not to thank Him only for being healthy and having a good family, but also to thank Him for things in the universe. God asks us to thank Him for creating earth and sky. So He's asking us, there is a request implied in this verse for us to thank
Him for having the night and day. Yes. And why do you think the night and day is good and important for us?
I believe that it initiates change in people.
Yes. Does it remind you with anything? This everyday change?
People do not have to stand still. They have to never to stand still. They have to work harder and move from a step to another. Just like the day moves through the night and the night moves through the day.
Okay, let's start by Professor Zarul. We need to know your opinion and the meaning behind this verse.
I begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our creator, the creator of the universe and of everything that's in it, and by greeting you and your audience in our Islamic way. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This verse that comes at the beginning of Surat al-An'am is really unique. Alhamdulillah alladhi khalaqa as-samawati wal-ard wa ja'ala adh-dhulumati wan-nur thumma alladhina kafaru bi rabbihim ya'dilun. All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has created both the heavens and the earth, and He has also created both the darkness and the light. And despite of this fact, the unbelievers try to equate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the supreme Lord of this universe, who has created everything, equate Him with idols or other forms of worshipping unjustifiably and unduly. And when we look at the beauty of expression in the verse, الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وجعل الظلمات والنور, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala equated the samawat with darkness, the firmament with darkness, and equated the earth with light. Why? Because the basic thing in the universe is that the universe is absolutely dark. It's pitch black. All the stars in the universe cannot illuminate the universe, including our sun. The beautiful white light of the day can only be seen for a distance that does not exceed 200 kilometers above sea level. Once you traverse that distance, you will see the sun as a pale blue spot amidst a pitch black sky. Why is this? Simply because the electromagnetic radiations that come from the sun are in their majority unseen rays. The gamma rays cannot be seen. The X-rays cannot be seen. The ultraviolet rays cannot be seen. The infrared rays cannot be seen. The radio waves cannot be seen, and so on.
Yes.
Only we have a small, tiny spectrum within the solar radiations that is known as the observed light. And this observed light emanates from the sun by different magnetic wavelengths. And if these wavelengths are scattered, they even cannot be seen. When they enter the lower atmosphere, they become multiply reflected and refracted by dust particles in the lower atmosphere, by gas molecules in the atmosphere, by water vapor in the atmosphere. And this mixes these different electromagnetic waves together to give that beautiful white light of the day, which is a great mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and a great bounty from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So the mercy comes from that the rays are not directed to Earth, it comes from the reflections and the refractions.
No,
it does not come directly to
It
Earth.
comes to Earth, but if it comes as separate wavelengths, they cannot be seen.
Yes.
And we have a simple experiment in physical laboratories. If you have a disk on top of which you have colored the spectra of the twilight, the red, the orange, the yellow, the green, the blue, the indigo, and the violet, and you spin that disk very rapidly, it will give you a white light. If the spinning lowers, you lower the speed, you get seeing this spectra one after the other.
And this is the combination that brings
The
out the white
combination
light,
that
the
brings
white light.
this white light, you see. So without this, the alternation of day and night, the alternation of darkness and illumination, life would have been virtually impossible. Why? Because none of the living beings on the earth, plants, animals, or humans, can live 24 hours under light or 24 hours under the darkness. Green plants need the white light and they need the darkness at night. The human body has got certain functions that are activated in light and other functions that are activated in the darkness.
Yes.
So without the alternation of day and night, without the alternation of darkness and illumination, life would have virtually been impossible. And because the main aspect of the firmament is blackness, is darkness, Allah has tailored this verse in that beautiful way. Alhamdulillah, الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وجعل الظلمات والنور. So darkness refers to the sky and the light refers to the earth.
Why do you think Zulumat is the beginning before An-Nur? Dark and then the light?
Because you see, when the universe was created initially, it was dark.
Yeah, okay, so this is the first phase of darkness.
Yes, and still this darkness is maintained in the universe, you see.
Yes,
If you leave this 200 kilometers above sea level
You'll
from
find-
the earth, you will go into absolute darkness.
Yes.
And that's why really it's a wonder really that a book revealed more than 14 centuries ago would spell out this fact that precisely and that beautifully from the scientific point of view, although it came here in the context of testifying to the might, knowledge and wisdom of the Creator, to testify to the oneness of the Creator without parallels, partners or similars, and to exalt the Creator above all His creation.
Okay, and at the beginning, at the time of the creation, there was the darkness phase at the beginning, and it took us like 30 million years to have this change of night and day.
No, you see the originality of darkness in the universe is an established fact. The universe started by absolute darkness. When the earth was created, it was illuminated during daytime by the sun rays and illuminated at night time by the impact of cosmic particles, which we call the aurora phenomenon, now seen only at the two poles, called aurora. And by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah has sheltered the earth by several protective layers that keep us away from these cosmic radiations. And that's why we get the darkness of the night and we get the brightness of the day. Without this alternation, life on the surface of that planet would virtually have been impossible.
Yes. and this is now a continuing everyday thing that will go to mashallah in the night and day, benefiting human beings.
Yes, until Allah orders this universe to be destroyed, and everything will of course be crushed.
Okay, we'll go for a very short break and return back to have more questions from our dear guests. So stay tuned, and we'll be back with more about the night and day with Professor Zaghlul Nagar. Welcome to this new episode of Focus Points.
The new generation has the habit of reading more than before.
Jewish question was basically the problem of Jews who lost their function in society.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. You're watching Quran and Science. And I guess my dear guests are having lots of questions to be asked. I've been preventing you from that. So please start with your questions.
Okay, Professor, concerning the day and night, the first question that came to my mind is, what's the fact beyond that the night is getting long in the winter, it getting short in the summer?
Yes. Because you see, the axis of rotation of the Earth is not vertical, it is inclined at 23 degrees at the orbit of the Earth around the Sun. And as a result of this, that inclination, you get the succession of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. You get the seasons, spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Because with this inclination, if the inclination is towards the sun, of course you will get a lengthier period of day than the night. If the inclination is away from the sun, you will get lengthier periods of night rather than periods of day. And this is because of this inclination of the rotation axis of the Earth.
And the second question is, in the daytime, the trees, vegetables, things like that need to get carbon dioxide, but in night they're getting oxygen. If there is any link between the day and night?
That's why I said without this alternation, life would have been virtually impossible. During daytime, plants take carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and through the energy of the sun, the plant, Allah has given it the capacity to break the carbon atom and separate it from the oxygen atoms. It liberates the oxygen for the breathing of humans and animals and retains the carbon atom. Then takes water from the soil or through irrigation or from rain, and again by the solar energy it breaks the water molecule into its initial components. The two hydrogen atoms it retains, and the oxygen atom it releases for the breathing of humans and animals. This is an essential process for the continuity of life. And then with the solar energy, Allah has given the green plants the capacity to join the carbon atom with different hydrogen atoms to produce a long chain of carbohydrates, which including sugars, starches, cellulosic material, even some oils and fats. And of course, these are the basic elements for the food chain. Without this process, we could have found no food on earth, you see. So at night, the process is reversed. The plant starts to take oxygen and to release the extra carbon dioxide it has. If it retains the carbon dioxide, it would kill the plant. If it does not get enough oxygen, it would not be capable of continuing that process, you see. The same thing for us as human beings. During daytime, the human body releases many enzymes and many chemical compounds, you see, that will energize the human body, will make the human body alert and wide awake, you see. And the process is reversed at night. You get many of the enzymes and many of the other chemical compounds that are produced in the human body to let the body relax, you see. And this relaxation is essential for the human existence, because many of the living cells die out, many of the bonds between the nerve cells weaken out. And that's why the very first part of the human body to feel in need for sleeping is the brain, you see. So humans and animals as well need to relax at night to rejuvenate their energy and rejuvenate the cells that they have lost during the day, recorrect any damages that have happened to these cells, especially the nervous system. And of course, the following day, humans and animals can wake up with enough energy to continue life. If I stay awake for 24 hours, one would really lose his brains, you see. And that's why it's a great blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to get that alternation. And at the same time, this alternation reminds us about death and resurrection. And that's why the Qur'an refers beautifully to the fact that sleeping is equal to death, and waking up from sleep is equal to resurrection. And resurrection has been highly debated by unbelievers and agnostics and people who try to materialize things to the extreme.
So this is a good reason for, and evidence for the non-believers to believe that there is a God who organizes.
As I said earlier, you see, there's a great difference with knowledge and guidance. Guidance is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but knowledge is in filling the books and the encyclopedias and the internet and the like, yes.
Okay, so the alternation is reminding, should be reminding people of the day of resurrection all the time.
And I recall here that a leading professor in the University of London, Professor Arthur Allison, he is the chairman of the electrical engineering department at the University of London, and he was fascinated by trying to verify what does the human loses on death. And he really exerted lots of energy to try to verify this. And an Egyptian student went to study under him, and he was a bright student. He told him, why do you worry yourself by life and death? I said, what could I do? He said, try to experiment on sleep and awakening, because the Quran equates between sleeping and death and awakening and resurrection from death.
Yes.
And he read for him this verse in Surat al-Zumar, الله يتوفى الأنفس حين موتها والتي لم تمت في منامها فيمسك التي قضى عليها الموت ويرسل الأخرى إلى أجل مسمى. And he said the Quran clearly equates between sleeping and death and dying, and awakening and resurrection from death. So he started to experiment with a case of sleep and awakening, and he found that the human body loses an amount of energy on sleep, and which is almost equal to the amount of energy lost on death. And this verse alone was enough to convince him to accept Islam. And he came to Cairo in 1985, attending a conference on science, Quran and science, and he declared Islam in public, in front of everybody in the conference hall. Yeah.
That's a very important point that we're speaking about today.
Indeed.
Okay, what about the countries who has low number of hours at night, and does it affect anything in
definitely. But by the mercy of Allah, Allah can give them enough immune in their body that can tolerate this. Enough hormones, enough vitamins, enough enzymes, you see, that can tolerate this.
Okay.
But it definitely affects them.
Yes. Okay. So moving to Abdurrahman.
As we see in the verse started by saying that Allah has created earth and sky,
Yes.
and has made darkness and light.
Yes.
Is there a scientific connotation between made and created?
No, I said the beauty in this verse is that he equates night with darkness, and equates the firmament with darkness, and the earth with light, and this is really a very proper correlation. And he said khalaqa, creation means starting something out of nothing, you see, without any parallel, without any example before. And وَجَعَلَ الظُّلْمَاتِ وَالنُّورِ, because this is a continuous process. You see, you can make night and day as a continuous process. And that's what he said, Alhamdulillah, الَّذِي خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَجَعَلَ الظُّلُمَاتِ وَالنُّورِ. And he has made light and darkness and light.
You have attracted my attention to a very important fact. The fact is, from the outer space, the sun is seen as a spot that emits light. But this light is interpreted in Earth through the atmosphere as this light that illuminates all Earth. This reminded me with the computer. When you have a file, it needs a certain program to read it. So this light is like this file that needs a program to read it. Does this mean that there are other forces that are emitted by the sun that can be interpreted or read by a certain factor?
Mechanism, maybe.
And we can even use it as a source of energy, like the solar energy.
Yes. And we don't know everything. So really, we know and we do not know. So we know very little of what's there, and yet some people try to appear as if they know everything. Really, the more you know, the less you feel you know.
The alternation of day and night, would we find other stars other than Earth having the same alternation?
Definitely. The system is one.
Okay.
When scientists went to the moon had day and night.
Yes.
And the Earth worked like a moon for the moon. You see, the moon for them became like an Earth.
At the time, at a certain angle, at a certain place, they see Earth as the moon.
Because you see, one of the living testimonies for the oneness of the Creator is the unity of creation. You see, we have norms, we have universal laws that runs everywhere.
Professor, I'd like to end this by a very important point that you've mentioned. It's about the alternation of day and night, and having the Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, reminding people with this everyday alternation that there will be a day of resurrection for everyone, and people should be really reminded with this fact that will help them maybe on the religious side be prepared for such a day.
Definitely. You see, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is quoted to have said, وَاللَّهِ لَتَمُوتُنَّ كَمَا تَنَامُونَ وَلَتُبْعَثُنَّ كَمَا تَسْتَيْقِظُونَ. In the name of Allah, you will die in exactly the same way you go to sleep, and you will be resurrected in exactly the same way you wake up from sleep. You see, so really the alternation of day and night, the alternation of sleeping and awakening would remember everybody for the moment of death and the moment of resurrection.
Okay, Professor Zaghloul Naggar, we thank you very much, and it was a pleasure having you here at the TV. Okay, my dear guests, Abdurrahman, and sorry, I forget your name, Zabihullah, which is a very special name. Yes, exactly, cannot be forgotten.
Cannot be forgotten.
Exactly, one of a kind. Thank you very much for joining us. Okay, and with this we come to the end of this edition of Quran and Science. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.